Hi everyone, welcome back to Islam Unboxed. Today we'll be talking about Hajj, the lies and the truth about Hajj. Many people they say Hajj is important. Many people say it is obligatory if you have the money. It is not obligatory if you don't have the money, which sounds nice. But Hajj is very confusing. Hajj is the last pillar of Islam, but yet they make Hajj is both obligatory and optional. The five pillars of Islam are Shahada. Shahada is obligatory, right? You cannot make Shahada optional. Zakah or charity is obligatory. You cannot make it optional. Fasting, unless if you're sick, is obligatory, not optional. If you're sick, you are not able to do it. That's a different story. Now, five prayers are also obligatory, not optional. But but this Hajj is very confusing, more confusing than fasting. But first, I will take you to read. I want you to read a few verses with me. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 125. And when we made the house a place of return for the people and security, and take from the standing place of Abraham a place of prayer, and we charged Abraham and Ishmael, saying, Purify my house for those who perform tawaf, and those who are staying for worship, and those who bow and prostrate. Next, Al-Baqarah verse 158. Indeed, As-Safa and Al-Marwa are among the symbols of Allah. So whoever make Hajj to the house or perform Umrah, there is no blame upon him for walking between them. And whoever follows this good, then indeed Allah is appreciative and knowing. This verse sounds so cute. Allah is appreciative. I don't know. So As-Safa and Al-Marwa also one of the things you do in during Hajj, right? So it is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 158. We'll go next. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 196. All right. I will take you to Yusuf Ali. And complete the Hajj or Umrah in the service of Allah. But if you are prevented from completing it, send an offering for sacrifice such as you may find. And do not shave your heads until the offering reaches the place of sacrifice. And if you is ill or has an ailment in his scalp, he should, in compensation, either fast or feed the poor or offer sacrifice. And when you are in peaceful conditions, if anyone wishes to continue the Umrah onto the Hajj, he must make an offering, such as he can afford. But if he cannot afford it, he should fast 3 days during the Hajj and 7 days on his return, making 10 days in all. This is for those whose household is not in the precincts of the sacred mosque, and fear Allah and know that Allah is strict in punishment. Wow, this verse is scary. So Allah is a nice guy. He's making many loopholes. If you cannot do this, you can do that instead. This the problem is if you cannot make offering, you can afford, then you should fast 3 days during Hajj and 7 days after. The problem with the offering is you cannot offer a chicken or a rabbit. The offering has to be a camel or a cow or maybe a goat. I don't know if it's But I don't think you can make a chicken as offering. This is the problem. But then, Allah make him like sounds like a nice guy, right? If you cannot afford it, you can fast for 3 days and then seven when you get home. So now, these all the things. I mean, there are more verses, but I will just read you these three verses actually. Allah made it sounds like important. Kaaba is his house, made it purify the house, yada yada yada. And then As-Safa and Al-Marwa are symbols of Allah, yada yada yada. And then this how you complete. If you can't complete Hajj, you have to give sacrifice. If you cannot save your head because of the ailment, you have to make a sacrifice, give another sacrifice. So sacrifice upon sacrifice upon sacrifice. Now, this looks like to me this because this in Quran this should be like obligatory, right? But then let's read Surah Al-Hajj. See, you notice something? We just read three verses regarding Hajj in Surah Al-Baqarah. Why those three things regarding regarding Hajj are not in Surah Al-Hajj? I don't know because Zaid ibn Thabit is a genius, I suppose. Now let us read Surah Al-Hajj, verse 78. Now Allah talking different here. And strive for Allah with the striving due to Him. He has chosen you and has not placed upon you in the religion any difficulty. It is the religion of your father Abraham. He, Allah, named you Muslims before and in this revelation that the messenger may be a witness over you and you may be witnesses over the people. So establish prayer and give zakah and hold fast to Allah. He's your protector and excellent is the protector and excellent is the helper. Now in Surah Al-Hajj, he said he doesn't want to give you any difficulty. If you go for Hajj, I think I mentioned this in my a couple of months ago. If you go for Hajj, you are paying $15,000 from Canada, and from US you're paying $15,000 US dollars. So, but Allah doesn't want to give you any difficulty. So this is very confusing. Now, in my last video before this, I was talking about how a Yemeni man was arrested for doing Umrah for the Queen Elizabeth II. Now, this is the picture of him. He's holding a banner, right? Saudi arrest Yemen man for performing Umrah for Queen Elizabeth II. Now, why he's doing this? Because it is actually allowed. It is not allowed if the person is not Muslim. However, you are allowed to do a Hajj on the behalf of someone else. You can even delegate someone to do Hajj on the behalf of your parents. If you have the money, you can pay someone to do Hajj for your parents who have died. Imagine this. It's like baptizing dead people. You know how it is in Mormonism. It sounds like that, right? No? Um, I will take you to Islam Ka. I will just show you the answer. This they take this answer from supposedly a Muslim scholar. His name is Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin. Now you can read, do Hajj on behalf of your mother first, because the mother has more right to be honored than the father. This has to be with the obligatory Hajj. But if the mother Hajj is nafil, nafil means optional, and the father Hajj is obligatory, then start with the obligatory Hajj on behalf of the father. But do not borrow money in order to send someone to perform Hajj on behalf of your father. I'll stop there. So, how can your mother's Hajj is optional and your father's Hajj is obligatory? Very, very confusing, no? But if it's not confusing and messy, then it is not Islam. And obligatory Hajj, this person, Ibn Uthaymin, say you can do on behalf of your mother. He didn't take it from any hadith, because there's no hadith talking about you can do Hajj on behalf of someone else. But he take it from hadith. Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 5971, narrated Abu Hurairah, a man came to Allah's messenger and said, "Oh Allah's messenger, who is more entitled to be treated with the best companionship by me?" The Prophet said, "Your mother." The man said, "Who is next?" The Prophet said, "Your mother." The man further said, "Who is next?" The Prophet said, "Your mother." The man asked for the fourth time, "Who is next?" The Prophet said, "Your father." This Ibn Uthaymin take it from that. There's no hadith saying you can do Hajj for someone else. But people do Hajj for someone else because of this person. As you can see, it's become a fatwa. Fatwa Ibn Uthaymin. So now, who is Ibn Uthaymin? Let us investigate through our best friend who is always underfunded, Wikipedia. Muhammad ibn al-Uthaymin. Full name Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymin. He was born in year 1929. He was born less than 100 years ago, and he made fatwa that records the religion. He just died in year 2001. Just 21 years ago he died. Can you imagine? And then he made a fatwa that followed by 1.6 billion Muslims. They can't just make up any rules and anything. As long they think you're a scholar, that's it. That's it. Your fatwa is as good as the word of Muhammad himself. Now we will read this. That's not the problem with Hajj. I found another problem with Hajj. The condition of a person to do Hajj. What conditions? I will go with two sources. One is Shia. First, I'm going with Shia. One is adulthood, which is fine. Now the second is reason. Oops. Reason means you're not insane. You must be sane to perform a Hajj or Umrah. Okay. Look at number 3 and 4. Freedom and financial ability. They don't talk a lot about freedom here, but you don't know what it means. They don't explain it very well. I don't think they explain it very well. Look, they're only talking about money, expenses, all the way. But then we can always go back to Islamka. Islamka is Sunni. So let's see their perspective. Being free means Hajj is not obligatory for a slave because he is distracted by his duties towards his master. So if you're a slave, unless your master give you a couple of weeks off, you cannot do Hajj. Hajj becoming optional. You can see, you see, eh, there's no permanent answer in Islam. It's always like there's a loophole. Hajj is only if you're a free Muslim. Then you have the money, it is obligatory. But if you're a slave, even though you have the money, it is an optional because as long your master uh, doesn't let you go, then you cannot go. Unless your master let you go for a couple of weeks, then yeah. So very confusing. In one hand, the Quran make it sounds like it is the Makkah and Medina are, I mean, at least Makkah is a important place to visit because the house of Allah, yada yada, right? But then, but then, an opinion from a scholar who was born less than 100 years ago, an opinion from a scholar who was born less than 100 years ago records the the way of Muslims doing Hajj, which is very very weird. And then after that, the conditions of doing, like, if you send someone or you go for Hajj for someone else, for your mother or father, and then how can it, like, your mother's Hajj is optional, your father Hajj is obligatory? What situation can can make it like that? They're both your parents. It's very confusing. And then, but if you're free, if you're a slave, even though you have the money, you cannot go for Hajj unless if your master let you to do so. So it doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, if you're a Muslim slave who have money. Hajj becoming optional. You see, it's almost like uh, you can just flip like that. You can flip it optional, obligatory, optional, obligatory. It's very funny. So if Hajj is not obligatory, then I don't know why Hajj is in 5 pillars of Islam. It shouldn't be there, and it should be out. Anyway, that's my opinion, right? And from this video, I hope you can perform, or I mean, you can form your own opinion. Something to think about. How fake the religion is. You can see it. Anyway, that's all from me for tonight. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Whether you're Muslim who have gone for Hajj, or a Muslim who have not gone for Hajj, or a Buddhist or a Christian, God bless you all. Have a nice life.